Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the F.A.T.E Declassified panel. Congratulations to all of you lovely folks who turned up this early, who are obviously either not hungover or just insane. Okay, so those of you in the audience, I assume you've seen some of the F.A.T.E stuff.
Please tell me you've seen the episode.
Well, I'm just going to assume some of you have. So, F.A.T.E is the mini web series that Kitacon did, based on the opening ceremony video from, what year was the last Kitacon? 2012. From the time you took from Kita 2012. So, our main panel up here is Con Magic Card. I always forget your surname. Okay, Con Magic Card Goldblum. Ian Decadane Bolton, Loosh, far too many special effects, Loosh, and Tom from the Low Warren. So, round of applause for our panel there. Right, so we're going to get these guys to talk a little bit first, and we're going to throw it open to some questions from you people in the audience about this, and then later on I'm told we have some outtakes from the invasion video from the opening ceremony.
10 minutes worth of outtakes.
Okay, so just to start things off, Ian and Loosh, if you could maybe give people a brief rundown on, what was the inspiration for F.A.T.E and what inspired you all to kick this off in the first place?
Well, generally I think this was because I joined Kitacon for Kitacon 3 and I didn't really get involved in videos until I think I got involved in Breakfast Club videos, but not the big ones. And I think when it came to Kitacon 4, we were thinking we should try and we wanted to do something together, and it was kind of trying to find the right combinations.
It's because I was going, please dear God, help me, and doing all these videos on my own, help me.
Because I think the first video that we kind of realised there was some potential to do something really good together was, I think, Van Scally, when we did the JCVD piss take advert of the Cause Light for Kitacon 4. And basically we spent one day with scanning with green screen. I shot it with the green screen, I gave the footage to Luke, and Luke did what he did, and if you went to Icon that year you saw Scally on top of a cold mountain with the refreshing with the refreshing cool drink of Kitacon.
Which incidentally was a green bottle against a green screen.
My bad.
As an After Effects person, I just thought, why people...
I think if Luke was there, he probably hit me around. No, if Luke was anywhere near me at the time, he probably would have hit me on the head. Anyway, so we did Van Scally. Van Scally went down very well. So that kind of spurred us on to try F.A.T.E. And at that point, we were coming at the opening ceremony at two different angles. Luke wanted to do animation, I wanted to do live action, and we then came to an idea that we could combine them. We could do animation, halving. So I think the original idea was. F.A.T.E was originally going to be, again, still trying to save the world from the Mayan apocalypse, but the way it was going to be was your Kitacon mascots were going to be animated, and you'd be in a control room similar to, has anyone seen Airplane? Airplane, when they go to the tower and you've got those characters that's just going, Rapunzel, to the tower, Rapunzel!
This was a hell of a day to stop having crystal meth.
Yeah, that's that sort of one. So that would be where the F.A.T.E offices would be, and they would be the live action characters there, and then you have the animated characters there in going to save the world. But then it came to the point where we were coming close to filming, and I think it was you who just said, fuck it, we'll green screen it all.
Yeah, because all the other ones animating basically the last kisses before, it was all flash animation and sort of mostly using the anime trick of everything is still apart from the eyes and the mouth flapping, and occasionally an arm will move. I was just thinking, that's a little bit too much of a thing to tackle on my own. So I thought, well, we can get something a lot more dynamic, a lot more interesting to watch if we just film this with real people, because we've got no end of volunteers.
Yeah, so with that, we sort of managed to make the script for the Mayan incident, which is what we done, the Kitacon 4 opening video. And we called in a few favourites and friends, like Keith and Claire from Team Giblets, lovely Lozzie, if she's in the room. Hello, Lozzie, she's at the back. She's at the back. And I think during the first video when I actually properly got to spend time with you, Con.
Much to his regret.
Much to my regret, and I've never looked back.
So it was a magical partnership that was formed. Yeah.
of time.
Oh yes. So we did the video. It went down pretty well at Kitacon 4. And in the run up to Kitacon 4, actually, we knew we weren't running in 2013. We knew about, I think, a month before it wasn't happening.
We've done 4 years on the trot and everyone needed a rest.
Yeah.
From apparently us.
Yeah. But by the time I did my Kitacon under my belt, so I was like, oh my god, I keep going. No, we are going to stop Ian because we will die otherwise. Okay.
That didn't stop us though, because literally the day the con ended, we were both on Facebook chat just going, oh god, we've just got to do this series, we've got so many ideas, we're putting everything down, oh my god, I'm going to start doing storyboards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop, come on, tits.
So yeah, we knew ahead of Kitacon 4 we weren't running again in 2013. So we thought, let's use the time productive, because we were just finishing up the Mire incident and we went, hey, this has actually turned out pretty good. And thought, do you want to do a web series, Luke? And Luke said, I believe you said yes at the time. Unless you want to some
it's like, I've never tried one. Let's go for it.
Yeah, so we kind of said we decided three short episodes or 3 mini movies, and we took it from there. And I think when we began the planning stages for Kick on Invasion, we kind of pitched the idea to the other committee members. We could do the web series and have it finish at Kick on Invasion, and I think to our surprise they actually said yes, go for it. So yeah, there we are. So we went off. I mean, we both decided that Luke would write and direct an episode, I would write and direct an episode, and we would combine up for the 3rd episode, which didn't necessarily happen due to the shooting requirements of Last Tango in Chekhov, which was the open video. We'll get to that in a bit. But
more, the first one was me, the second one was both of us, and then the third one was you. So we just sort of monkeyed around a little bit.
Oh yeah, pretty much. And yeah, so basically what we did, we went away. We picked what we wanted to do for our particular episodes. Luke wanted to look at John Woo style hard-boiled action films. I was very keen on doing some sort of creature feature with digital download monsters. And Beware the Beast, which was the 3rd one, that is the one that changed so much since we announced it at Adicon 12. Originally it was supposed to be a cosplayer who was so obsessed with fairies that he constructed a special device that allowed him to inject the DNA of sort of like animals into him, and he could become the most realist furry cosplayer ever. And on paper that sounded like a terrific idea.
If we actually pitched that to John Patrick Lowry, he would love that, because the transhuman thing is his thing. So I'm sure if he wants to actually write a book for us or something, we can probably plug that too.
That's cool. So yeah, that was the original plan. But then as we went on, it started, the storylines kept changing and changing, and it came to the stage where we came to the idea that the villains, because Keith Statman was always going to be the uber nasty for Invasion, it was pretty much there to begin with when we discussed it.
You see, they never actually told me this till relatively recently, so that came as a bit of a surprise overall.
No, I thought you knew.
Well, when I first heard about it is when I got an email from Luke asking, can I get some photographs of your face? And I'm like, why?
No reason.
I need them for it. I should have brought those photos in because they were beautiful. I just asked because to do the 3D modelling, all I need is just a photo from the front and the side, and I can construct pretty much anything. But you decided to give me loads of expressions for it as well. So we've got angry, we've got sad, we've got...
I thought I wouldn't do it by halves.
But yeah, it came to the stage when we decided that man was going to be the uber baddie. The villains sort of became an escalation from each episode. So you have the sub-dub war, which was, yeah, it got very, very violent at the end of the episode with people's heads exploding, but we considered them a trifle. The leechers were the next step up. They're vicious. They're not really civilized characters. So
they look quite nice here.
Yes, they do. They're unleachified.
If our 2 leechers could stand up.
They've been cured.
They've been cured. They don't want 3 things anymore.
They always want 3 things. I've got 3 things for you later.
Yes.
So all of the leechers that you see in that video are just those 2 blacked up, because that's not inappropriate at all.
Well, we came up with that idea because we knew that we would be using cinematic filtering just to make it look a little bit more interesting. I thought, wouldn't that just look brilliant if we just complete jet black paint, so all you've got is just the hood and the teeth. I just thought that would look really striking, and luckily that's exactly what happened. It worked quite well, I think.
Oh shit, my pants.
I remember showing the teaser trailer, the one we took to Icon I showed it to Claire, and I think her response is that is generally unnerving, which was mostly Cal.
I had that response on most of them.
It was mostly Cal just going, where did he just begin the faces?
Which we filmed just at the last minute before you were going home. It's like, do you want me to do anything else? Yes, whilst you've got the makeup, let's just film this.
But yeah, back to just briefly what I was saying, because that man was the villain, we thought the villain should go up in scale. So the Beast should be kind of like the link, the barrier between silly villains and really nasty villains. So the Beast became a convention bomber. And it was more frustrating because I had no idea who could play the Beast. And then Luke, out of nowhere, said, hey, what about your brother Ian?
Wouldn't that be a nice twist of actually having a Decker Dane's brother being the bad guy? And oh, by the way, you do actually have a very striking brother who would look like a bad guy.
Yeah.
It's nice how that worked out.
It really did, and he lives in London, so I said, yeah, why not? And that was all filled in. So yeah, that's basically how we approached the 3 episodes. Yeah, so, Eddie, do you have a question?
Okay, do we have any questions from the audience about what you've heard so far? Or anybody have anything they'd like to put to our panel? Can we have the uncensored version?
What's it? Define uncensored.
You mean the hardcore XXX nudity?
I mean the free mugging he gets up to when he's alone.
I am always alone when I'm 3D modelling. What you see is what you get.
I know what you don't realise is all of F.A.T.E, all of the episodes, in order to make post-production effects easier, it was all filmed, everybody was naked, and all the clothing and everything else was digitally added on later. So Luke should see more of all of us than he ever wanted to see.
And I am so familiar with you all. And I'm also, it's a horrible thing of being such great friends with everyone, but then having to rotoscope around them, which for anyone who doesn't know that term, it means you have to draw a line around someone and then move it every single frame. And you end up despising every single feature of whoever you're rotoscoping. But thankfully, after that gets rotoscoped, you just blank your brain and just move on to the next one. So you no longer hate that person anymore.
I think this is a good time to actually talk about one of the key sequences in Hard Subbed, which was an absolute ball ache. The finale for Hard Subbed obviously takes place in the Titles Club. Originally, the shoot for Hard Sub took place January 2013 up in Middlesbrough, and Phil, who's obviously our party officer here, he managed to find DJ last night. Yeah, he found some really good locations. He found the nightclub location, which was amazing, and that was so lucky. We were so lucky to be able to use that.
And it had a really good office as well.
Yeah, and we had a really good office set as well. But the day before we were supposed to go and shoot there, the person in charge had locked it up and buggered off somewhere.
You buggered off to Africa.
Yeah.
We didn't tell Phil. Phil came in and said, why don't my keys work? And then the site manager comes on and goes, yeah, the guy hasn't paid the rent in ever.
Yeah, so he disappeared to Tanzania.
Yeah, Tanzania.
Never to be seen again.
Yeah,
So
we were at a loose end.
So we were very fortunate that Helen, who plays Voco, hello Helen, she's over there. Is it your mum or was it her grandma sort of offered a small church hall for us to go film in, which was great.
Jesus.
Yes. So we managed to get there. The slight problem was, as much as it was a nice replacement set, we could only use about 2/3 of the walls because in the background there was the A to Z key drawings of the Bible.
M is for Moses,
J is for Jesus, and G is for God. So we were very restricted in the camera angles. And then that's when I think Luke wanted to do, thought we could do rotoscoping. And then about a few days
I've done it
after,
before, it's easy.
it was like, oh, okay. A few days later,
Because obviously anything you don't understand is easy to do.
yeah. And then a few days later, Luke gets in touch with me over Facebook and just goes, oh good God, we need to reshoot the ending.
Yeah, it's because we were doing rotoscoping at work, because where I work we were actually doing 3D conversion on small bits of film, like we actually 3D converted an entire Hannah Montana concert. That was great. But yeah, it's like, but because it was between a staff of like 20 of us, it wasn't too bad to get through the footage. I completely and utterly underestimated how long it would take for just one person to rotoscope a good 10, maybe 15 minutes of film. I wouldn't recommend it.
If we had a team of, say, 20, maybe 30 additional effects artists, maybe it could have been done in the timescale we had originally implied. But it was just poor Luke. So
I just went, no, and filmed this again.
Yeah, so we spent a weekend up at Luke's house with green screen and we finished it there.
Still not ideal, because we had builders' lights. This was before we had Keith's wonderful green screen.
Yes,
Professional green screen setup. We just had green screen and builders' floodlights, which makes the most horrendous shadows.
Yeah, because anyone who isn't aware of how green screen works, the idea is you have this uniform green background that you film your cast in front of, and then in post-production you essentially just select the green colour and then the program can remove that. But in order to do it in a nice, clean, even fashion, you need to have decent lighting from all sources so that your actors are lit appropriately, but also so that you get a uniform colour that's easy to remove. Because you have these harsh builder lights, you've got these dark green shadows, which means you then have a couple of colours to remove, and that starts. Because then your palette starts becoming the same as some of the colours of your actors, because on HUD you might notice there's quite a lot of edge missing.
There's in particular, there's black hair and then a black shadow. It was just going all around all the time, so that was me rotoscoping for, I think it was 4 months.
Yeah, because originally we were going to get the episode out in April there, it didn't come up till, we didn't complete it till IFCon weekend, did we?
Oh yeah.
No, yeah.
It's a bit of a learning process.
Yeah, I think
for everyone.
I think
It's not the time.
I think the thing to really note for us that we've noticed with the 3 episodes is we've learned and we've got stronger, I think, as film and storytellers as we go along. I mean, yes, Hard Sub was a baptism of fire. It really was. I mean, the funny thing is I've done.
Why is that funny?
Why is it funny? We suffered.
You laugh and I'm paying.
Yeah, because
all the time.
I actually did video production at university. I have a degree in it, so I like to have a general sense of how to shoot live action and the visual effects. So combining the two and trying to apply it to a 20-page script is a challenge. Obviously, if you kind of plan in advance, but Hard Sub was a very steep learning curve. We learned things about sound, we learned about angles, we learned about lenses, DSLR filmmaking, and green screen. And when we moved on to Leech's Rise a few months later, we'd learnt the lessons and we got better there. And then from there, we felt that we could progress more on to Beware the Beast. And to be perfectly honest, I think the opening video is by far our strongest video together as a collaborative unit. Because we've learned and we've moved on, and it's very easy and it's very arrogant if I was to sit here and say, yes, all the fake films are amazing, I've made pieces of Oscar gold. But I know they're videos we make for fun, but and I love them. I do love them. There are bits in all the episodes that I'm so proud that we filmed, and they're always. And this is me as a creator. Sometimes I will always be overcritical on my own work. If there's something slightly out, I will tear it to pieces. But I can always
watching him backstage when the animation's on because he can't watch it.
The first, here we go. Yeah, for Kitacon 4 opening video. This was the first time I seriously did something for a convention, and I was backstage. Bricking it, literally. And it's like fingers in ears, hands over eyes, and kind of like that.
Meanwhile,
Which
I
is
was
a really encouraging thing to see
Yeah.
backstage, obviously.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I was just on the little plinth stage where we winch Scowny up, and I was just going, "Oh, thank Christ, it works. It's not in weird aspect. The colours work, the sound works. It's like, I'm happy that it's running. People are laughing. That's all I do it for. It's like, if I hear laughing, I've done it right."
And it came to Friday with Kitacon, this obviously invasion, and I'd seen stills. I had not seen a single frame of completed footage, apart from the live action segments which I graded and sound mixed.
I hid the rest from it.
Yes, he hid the rest of it, and he played the first 20 seconds before we started letting people into the hall backstage, and I simply just dropped to my knees when he did the Villains Road Gallery because it was so damn fucking perfect. It was amazing. So, and I think strange enough, there I was at that time. It was validation that we did something good. So
Yeah, he laughed.
yeah, the way we do this because we like to entertain, we like to tell stories, and we like to do the thing. We like to make these little films. If one person finds them funny, then we've done our job. It's not we don't do it for glory or for stroking our egos. We do it because
Speak for yourself.
I've got 2 people as well.
Give me money.
Sorry.
It's mostly one person last.
Okay, do we have any audience questions on that at all? I'll get you in a second. Tom, first question from this gentleman here.
Whereabout did you get the idea for everyone's powers, like cons, magic cards and stuff like that?
We kind of, I think we kind of came to the idea that
Honestly,
honestly, no, we actually came to the idea that the people in the original F.A.T.E team should have some sort of special ability. So we had
we thought of a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, Mission Impossible thing. So we had the scientists played by Keith and Claire. We had Clive, Kip on Elephant, and Manuel talking.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Dane would be the ultra stern leader who was surrounded by idiots. Con, I think I just wrote down on a piece of paper that he was obsessed by magic cards, or he was obsessed by trading card
Yeah, it
games.
was just a Yu-Gi-Oh obsession.
Yeah. Originally it was
left by
Yu-Gi-Oh.
his mum in the convention and never came back, so he just adopted it.
Yeah.
And a solitary arm.
And I think when we were adding little bits or streaming down, I think I added in a little bit of he picks up a card, shouts to my magic card for help, and throws it against the door. It does nothing, like a rule.
And then we thought it'd be funnier just to have all the epic special effects on top, like it is going to do something, it's leading up and then it just goes,
Just
in
in
effect.
Beautiful.
There we go.
Yeah, well, it's interesting with that actually because some of the stuff I've done myself over the years, and generally you can never quite predict what an audience will find funny or what they'll take to heart. And of course, Con is a great example here as he became this unexpected star of the whole thing.
Unexpected.
It's just, we created a monster that day.
It's just, just all through the first Friday, all I had, magic card, go!
I could have murdered quite a lot of people.
And then I think when we got on to hard subject, it all became about crumpets.
Yeah, you're still finding crumpets around the house.
I didn't get to meet Con properly till relatively recently, so it's quite weird meeting him for the first time, speaking like a normal human being.
Was it the Beware the Beast shoot, the house shoot for that?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, I remember you saying that you were just getting people just treating you like you're a special case at the time. Because they thought you really were like that. So no, he's acting, people.
I'm not lying. This actually happened about 5 o'clock this morning. And this guy came up to me and was like, wow, I was kind of expecting it to be like, not normal. Well, okay.
How did that make you feel?
I was too tired to care. Just like
So yeah, with the moving on to answer your question about the characters, when we decided to do the web series, we kind of came up with the idea that the only 2 constants should be were going to be Dane and Conan, because they were the painful dynamic of Dane, the painful dynamic of having to suffer through Con's silliness makes a fun double act, I believe.
It's the classic odd couple.
Yeah. And we thought that each episode they'd get new members that would represent an element of the community. So, obviously, for Hard Subs, Voco, played by Helen, is a language expert, a very bad one.
Expert.
Expert, who can speak cat. And someone last night actually finally hit the nail on the head on the reference. They said, "Is that a Freakazoid reference?" Yes, it was, because I love that show.
We also have you always get the people at the cons who have got the full battle dress, they've got all the legit airsoft rifles and stuff, and we thought, we need someone like that. So that's how Recoil was created, and we thought it would just be wonderful just having them just bark single words, just in the opposite, because obviously Dane's very wordy, Voko's very wordy, Tom's very wordy, but just having someone just go, war! It was just more amusing.
As we went along with different characters, I always wanted Mark, who was Kitacon's registration officer at the time, doing a Doctor. He's a big Doctor Who fan. So I thought, let's just have a guy dressed up as the Doctor who is mistaken for the Doctor. And then we came up with the idea of the not Doctor, who we came up with the joke. You couldn't necessarily call him the Doctor due to legal reasons.
Yeah, he doesn't actually want to be referenced as the Doctor. He doesn't want to be the Doctor. That's the whole irony.
He's just an homage. He really is. So yeah, and then we had a bit more stable characters like Mike, who plays Professor Clem. He's technically the key. Clem Pie, yeah. Oh, there he is. He's there. He's the Q of Fate, with Fate Labs, who have absolutely no budget at all in their weaponry and gadgetry.
Well, until the end.
Well, until the end. And with because Keith for Kitacon 4 did sort of like a Mr. Chumley Warner style guide how not to behave at a convention, and we kind of liked the character.
Part of my vain attempt to get a certain segment of the community to start washing and stop acting like twats.
I think it may have been true. And we liked Keith as that character, so we thought, could he be the Kitacon gentleman and be our sort of M? Yeah, sort of M.
That's what it stands for.
Yeah, so Keith.
Yeah.
The ironic part is KG, apart from saying the Kitacon gentleman, is actually my first two initials as well, which they didn't realise at the time, but funny coincidence.
Yeah, that's the other fun thing is we never tell the cast anything. Really.
We're going to shoot. Okay, here's the script. Damn it, Ian, why didn't you give me the script earlier? I thought I did.
Stories.
Tom just sort of messaging me, so am I actually going to be able to see the script before we do anything? Because seriously, guys, I was like, yes, there you go, you can read this now.
Oh,
what's in a script?
But, oh yeah. Even funny news, Con doesn't really read the script. I
just give him a general direction, and it's just fly free, Con.
I just
directed all the leash him.
I just imagine we send him the script, he prints it out, he'll flip through every page and go, okay, ooh, that's exciting, that's okay. And then he'll get up, he'll walk to a window, open it, and throw the script out the window, and go, I'll just wing it.
I do remember being at work once when it was quieter and just got my phone out and just read through the script and I'm like, oh, so that's what he wants me to do.
What do I want to do?
A director's worst enemy is his cast.
Oh,
Do you have any other questions? Okay.
Okay, so if Fate got turned into this big Hollywood production, like with just this multi-million-dollar film,
Please don't do this to me.
no.
yeah, who would you want to play and what would it be about? It's like a list of actors who would play each other.
Jeff Goldblum has to be in that.
Jeff Goldblum is KG.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because if you see him in Grand Budapest Hotel, he has such a fine beard. You think that's a man that could give all his information.
Recoil will be played by Will Smith, I have to say.
I would like to see that.
Brian Blessed would make a pretty good Conan, I think.
Yeah.
It would be.
And certainly,
No. Unfortunately, because of the Hollywood stuff, I'm thinking you could be Channing Tatum. No, seriously, if you think the 21 Jump Street stuff, it could be you go, oh cool, I got magic cards. Like, go! Oh hell,
So who would be Deckard Cain?
oh god, I don't honestly don't know.
Jeff Goldblum.
Deckard has to be Samuel L. Jackson. So he can't be
Leslie Fury
anymore, he's the real job.
Can we have Samuel Jackson as Deckard and we can sell him from being Mr. Scout?
Oh yeah,
He needs
Scarlet.
He needs ScarJo.
And the part of me would be played by Weta Digital.
The entire staff at Wet Edition.
Well, just because they know what they're doing.
Directed by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh no!
Yeah, co-directed by Michael Bay. With the amount of explosions I was throwing around in hard sub, it might as well have been the Bay Formers.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Where the baby's gone.
I'm sorry.
You weren't away with this stuff, you would have just called it.
Mummy and a daddy were
I've
straight.
And we have a question from one of the cast members.
It's the poster.
What was I doing?
Hello, poster.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Is there an actual storyline of why what is his name? The Beast became evil?
That's one of the slight flaws that really tears me to pieces with Beware the Beast, because there's so much potential with the F.A.T.E universe. Because that's actually quite funny. When we got towards the end of doing this, it's kind of like we've created a universe that could be so fun to explore. And
The fact that there's already fanfics of you there.
I've not seen another. No. And there's bloody Yowie art as well.
Yeah, there's the hour art of that man and Dane and it's glorious.
If you were in this room about 12 hours ago, you would have seen dramatic reenactments of that said pose.
I'll send the form around. I'll send the form around.
Okay. But yeah, in regards to the Beast, if we had more time, I would have loved to explore it a bit more. The idea I've always had with the Beast moving forward, if we ever decided to do this again, which isn't going to be for a while because, my God, we do need a break for this.
I've basically spent the last 2 years doing 18 hours a day of work.
2 years.
I've got my normal 8-hour a day job, and then everything else has just been doing F.A.T.E. I would like to sleep and be with my fiancée.
Can we actually get a round of applause for this?
There's another thing you may not realise if you haven't filmed something yourself is for every minute of footage that you see in a final production, there's at least another 20 minutes in other takes or just that have hit the cutting room floor, because it takes so much bloody work just to do the simplest of things.
Or just Joe just laughing through it.
Which you will see very, very soon.
There's nothing worse than fucking around all the time and trying to get shit done.
Or even better, when we're filming outside and we've got the other cast members jiving like freaks through the window and just making the other cast members laugh too hard.
Well, we didn't realise you actually just pan the camera across the bloody window.
Just one cut, it's just going past, we're following Clem past, and there's just you, just...
Having a techno party in the window.
There's like tongues up against the window. He didn't even realise, he was so in the zone, he did not realise. Me and Connor just...
Because then we had to tell him he couldn't use that tape because we were in the background, and he didn't realise he just stormed in and was like, shit, hide!
Yes, sorry, finish off the question of the Beast. The idea I've always had with the Beast is the Beast did work for F.A.T.E at some point, obviously because he was Declan's connection to get the intellectual orchid and stuff like that when he was on temporary leave after he lost his eye, which, well, I don't know, I think we still never really decided what the story of the eye patch ever was. We just thought eye patches were cool at the time. But yes, the great idea I wanted to do with the Beast was another member of the F.A.T.E team was originally tasked to bring him in, but he sort of supposedly died in an explosion, and then obviously the Beast returning. I mean, some of the original dialogue for me where the Beast was, why are you still alive, Damien? And when we got to the edit, I realised we actually had made no reference before that scene that he had died. So we had to sort of change it all up again. But the original intention was he was presumed dead, and he was back from the dead, causing havoc. And my ultimate thought was it was either going to be Recoil or Awesome Joe who was originally tasked. So if you moved forward, you had this potential, and if the Beast was to return, you had this really potentially great sort of subplot going on, where there is bad blood between these two characters, and all hell breaks loose when they whether it be Recoil or Awesome Joe when they get back together. And I think at the moment it's all leaning towards Awesome Joe because of how they fight in the finale of Last Tango at Sheffield.
because now Joe's in charge. He's
Yes.
commander of Fate.
And funnily enough, that decision was made back in May 2013.
Bad choice.
Yeah, but no, Joe didn't find out until about 6-8 months later, because I think we just wanted, because the funny thing is when you get people in, you don't know how they act, and I think we've been very, very lucky and very, very blessed with the cast that have come in to help us out, because they've all taken to their roles really, really well. And it's like with Joe, for
Sometimes
example,
multiple roles
roles as well, like Callum.
Cal is just dying in every episode.
Yeah.
He's like Kenny.
Yeah.
Apart from in Invasion, where ironically for the first time ever, all the red shirts survive.
They just steal the shit.
Commander dies.
Yeah.
Just totally broken cliche rules there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we brought Joe in to do Awesome Joe, it's kind of he sort of took the role like a good sort of superhero, like, yes, I'm awesome, all that sort of stuff. It's kind of me and Luke both go, yeah, he's the man who will be leading Fate after Dane says goodbye.
Ever since we got you doing your radio voice, basically, when we were first on that little bench for doing Invasion, doing Legions Rising, and you were just sort of running through the characters, like, oh, should I try it like this, like that, and so doing the radio voice is hi, Dane, it just like knocks you across the bench. It's like, yeah, that's Joe, that's Awesome Joe, we've got it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, do we have any other questions?
Let's
What
get
about first?
Hi, Tom.
Oh, it's Tom.
Obviously, we've just spoken about the Beast. What is your favourite unanswered question in Fate?
I think it's what Recall does in his spare
Appropriate sinister music plays, just there.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do what Recall does in his spare time. He's just got such a varied life. I did actually, because we had that little skit where we were just filming you in the back of the car, and you just started going, Disney World, Disney World, Disney World, freaking all the people out on the streets outside because they could hear him quite clearly. But
Matt's man in the back of a small car with guns and shit just started going, Disney World, Disney World, Disney World.
I shit my pants.
It's looking very special indeed.
And then when me and Lauren went to Disney Paris recently, I actually filmed a little bit specially just of just the promenade basically, and we want to green screen him in, so it's like, yes, after all Fate is done, he finally gets to go to Disney World. That's Recoil's Disney World! That's Recoil's happy ending, but you could probably, if you ever feel, I don't know, we could do like loads of random little stuff in the meantime, because it would be just good for like little one-shots, like little one-minute things, just like, what did Recoil do today?
Every character should know that.
Yeah.
We should all do one day, like,
Do one.
So
obviously after I've slept, so.
Yeah.
you can sleep for 12 months.
No, do it now, right now. Live action. Yeah, do it.
But no, I like this question. So, Tom, do you have any unanswered questions?
Where am I?
Anything about the whole plot of all the Fates that you've thought, there's a question I want to answer, what happens with that character?
Well, all the characters interesting and unique. I think that perhaps we could explore backgrounds for all of them. Just find out just who the hell are these people.
Yeah.
And,
How did they get there?
yeah.
Why are they not locked up?
I do also want to know how Handheld got into the biz as well, because she just seems to obviously walk into the office and just become the team, and so she does not give a fuck.
She was just there one day and she wouldn't leave us alone. It's like she likes the game, she also likes to save the world when it suits her. And when barrel rolls are involved.
Lots of contempt for Dane, there's no to show, but then, yeah, she just comes and saves everyone.
Perhaps Dane.
Well, just quickly before we get to the outtakes, we'll, you four, if one by one, if you could quickly say what was your favourite moment from the whole Fate experience, starting with Con. He has no favourite moment.
Magic card, go!
So, yeah, what was your favourite moment
Come
from
back
the
to
whole?
me, I'm still thinking because I've been editing all of it and I can't even think of things that were...
Ian actually just hates all of it now. Every single moment. It's just like, fuck you guys.
No,
How about you, Luce? What's your favourite moment?
My favourite moment is the fact that the last echelon, which is that man's giant ship, actually rendered in time, because that just took weeks upon weeks of my computer day and night just going frame, frame, and it actually got, because I had to redo that shot so many times until I got it right, so I'm happy that worked.
And how about you, Tom?
I enjoyed that. All of it was fun. All of it was honestly a lot of fun. It was just nice doing it for the fans as well, because there wasn't anything else like F.A.T.E that was around at the time. I mean, there was opening videos and shit for people, but it was just, we went and actually put together a whole sort of mini series. It was just by the fans, for the fans. It was just, you know, nice to give something back to the people.
Just
I feel it, man. Like,
just touching on what Tom said there, the thing I've noticed, from really being in the community for 10 years, how the creativity from people has just evolved to spectacular levels. I mean, Keith, for example, this is a really silly fanboy moment, but when Keith got involved, that was real indication of where we were coming.
Did you feel validated?
I did feel validated.
I
Because
still didn't notice you, though.
no, still noticed it because, because obviously Team Giblets, they do really, really good sketches. They do really good skits, and they like to, and they do really good videos. So to get them involved at some point in F.A.T.E was like a little bit of icing on the cake for us, for me personally.
I was just enjoying the novelty of getting to take part in somebody else's project. It's quite nice not being the poor fuck who has to put something together.
Yeah, and I've seen when you've had to put your stuff
Guess
together.
what, Keith? You don't have to script.
No. Yay! But no, the creativity in the community now is superb, because you've got so many people with cameras doing photography and photography. You've got Tim and Neko are doing panel film of this, but they'll also be doing event coverage this weekend. Obviously, you've got people like Nerd, who does these amazing cosplay videos, and I think Nerd, Nerd came, I think, started around when I started F.A.T.E Festival. I might be wrong, I'm not entirely sure, but that's what I heard from meeting Nerd. But the creativity has just come on leaps and bounds. It's wonderful to see, and to be part of that sort of little movement with F.A.T.E is just as rewarding. And also, the funny thing is, as Tom says, we did this for fun. And the funny thing is, friendships and have been made on sets like this, because people like, say for example, Lottie and V, they didn't really meet each other until Leech was Rising. They'd heard of each other, but they never really met until Leech was Rising, then they'd gone, and now they're really best friends. It's the same with Jade as well. Jade didn't know Lottie or V, and they're good friends, or whatever, and it's kind of like, because I didn't know.
No one likes Jake, though.
Again, I didn't know much about Tom, I didn't know much about Carl or Keith or even Joe for that matter. The great thing is, by the time we came around to film the last Tango in Sheffield, it was more like a big family get together, because we. Yeah. Oh yeah. Mother. He was a mother during last Tango.
Go for a proper title.
Okay, so are people ready for some outtakes?
Yeah. I'm going to watch it.
This will be interesting because I haven't seen this outtake yet.
And this is cut down outtakes as well. There's so much more, but we've just selected the absolute best that we can find. Because basically, there's a good, say about 47 hours of just con and all of his different takes.
Is the projector actually on?
No. Press the button.
Please bear with us momentarily while we fire up the technology.
If anyone actually wants to buy special effects, I wouldn't do this for money.
I will teach you my art.
I'm not teaching you anything, you're just paying me.
Teach me how to live.
One special effect.
What I'm going to be like your French girls.
Look at how you're so baby.
Sparkling is about £300.
Muppet 1, Muppet 2.
There's different levels of sparkle. You've got the recoil sparkle.
You won't watch them.
Today's presentation was sponsored by Language Speech.
I'd like to thank the Pro Plus.
I'm sorry, I did something to your outtakes.
Please, purchase refreshments.
Fire.
Oh, it's crazy stuff.
Oh dear.
How about just throwing
Oh.
Oh shit, I remember this one.
Look at that.
Out. Work it.
Baby Dan.
No, you're just there. Doing the most bizarre thing behind you. So. Okay.
That certainly was not awesome. Jeff said that would be so disappointing.
Thank you, Jeff. Get me some more gin while you're at it.
Yes, will you entire lady boy now, sir?
No, the Lady Boys are Thursdays only. This is a Wednesday. As well you know.
My mistake, sir.
Expelled from their homes, working undercover. Stop that. He's dancing along to my lines.
Don't be dancing, fool.
What the bloody hell was that? Guys, do you want to break your arms or lose? I will do that again.
Start discussion. Yeah. I guess we know who will be after that, don't we? Bitch crazy.
Change.
Look at all the bucks I do not give.
Listen to my.
No, that's better. What does it get to tense?
Let's go listen to your program.
I was just going to keep doing round and round. We have more tips for you, sir. Maybe. Don't shut any neck, you freak. No neck, motherfucker.
Just do what they
I just want to see that head. Right.
They didn't pay you.
Right. Silence on set. Fucking joke. Okay, yeah, we're still on. Oh shit! Look at, are you challenging me? Or offering me a date with your mother?
Elizabeth Day was a saint! Oh,
David Cameron is on the line. Like his toe.
You can tell him to fuck off.
As you wish, sire.
Can you make it out of catchwords like a Joe? Shut up!
Stop. Very good. Easy, very
Get your ass in here, boy! What the hell am I you for? God damn! That's it.
Right. Start positions.
Down you boy!
Ta-ta! It's not stopping.
I have such a speech boner.
Not stopping.
Are you? I'm going to punch you in the face so hard, you're going to taste it on your 10th birthday. Look at the camera, man. Have you tried pressing the left button, sir?
No, there's no fucking buttons on this chair. Right, serious faces. 3, 2, 1. Sorry. Okay.
The manual says you have to press the button.
Look at these shit contractors again. God, I think, isn't it?
Just do money shot. See, it's not really a big eye patch, it's a fucking lie. Everything about this is fake. Says my head.
Neil's on bringing some dinner, but tomorrow we can chill, you can relax.
Yeah, it's my favorite.
Okay, so we're doing two disciplines. We've got the microphone for
I'm not doing Aru. Press X, drop that down. Get the style set.
I fucking paid your way through college, son.
You were forced.
Fuck off, you patchy nonce!
Stay in from top, please. Get nonce. If you go proper Yorkshire, if you like. Back off, you absolute nonce.
So what's your story then?
I've got to score with the same.
Oh.
Fuck. I'm gonna hit you in the face so hard, you're gonna taste it on your 10th birthday. Yeah! What? Don't say that. This is my time. My line, bitch. Oh, snap! Magic hand, go! Go! Go, just Elizabeth Day was a saint!
Not what I heard.
Woohoo! Oh! Oh, man!
She got that fine.
Oh! She's got a point, ain't she? Command the time to wake up. Thank you. Hey! Been up for the fight? You're gonna.
Last on video.
One more time. Did I just spit you? Oh shit!
This is why Russian sausage is bad.
That man, I'm gonna punch you so hard in the face, you're gonna feel it on your 10th birthday! Boom.
What you gonna do, that man? There's a parachute of awesomeness comes running over you.
All these fists are running into my body.
This is black.
Is it because I get black, y'all?
It's because you're black, man. Whether your pink number, you know I like that.
Yes,
And don't mention this to Mrs. Pidgey.
It is our little secret, sire.
Good stuff, Jeff.
Joe! Neil! Joe! Oh, shit. We've got Taylor. Joe, get the rest of the team meeting in the doctor's day. Okie dokie.
Level 4. Amusements and hilarity cats.
Oh! No, get on this one! No, fighting!
Yeah. 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 Seriously, Lucy, you don't stop fucking up this night now. Noodle soup. One job. Right.
Don't mess around with Seth, goddammit.
Has anyone told you you've changed your clothes a lot in the last couple of scenes?
If that smells anything to go by, he shits himself!
We out. Go again.
Well, for this shit.
This is a shit, man. You should be ashamed of yourself. I feel like there's someone in my life who
So professional. That was the F.A.T.E Declassified panel. Thank you very much for attending, and a big round of applause to all the creators of F.A.T.E. Rounds of applause for all.